Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the first round of a new league for me, the Champions Racing League, here in Silverstone. As you can see, driving a Haas car, as we see us go on our first quality lap. So this is the first time I've done something like this, so please excuse if I do stutter a bit. I've got about a 50-minute recording to deal with. But as we see, coming through Abbey, missing the apex a little bit. I'm always a little bit tentative on the first lap here, as I have a tendency to spin at that corner. Nice apex, although a little bit of a wiggle and oversteer coming into loop, but we get a nice exit on the medium tyres. So in this league, I would say I'm one of the faster drivers, especially at Silverstone, which is one of my strongest tracks. So coming into this, I was really expecting a podium, as we go dreadfully wide there and lose at least a tenth. A nice double upshift into the exit of Luffield, and down a back straight coming towards Copse Corner, which I didn't take it flat this session, I don't think, as we see lifting a little bit in 8th gear, but that's still some pretty decent amount. Coming into Magnussen Beckett's now, shifting into 7th, 6th, and then 5th, quite rhythmic. Yeah, and I got a little bit of a wiggle. Wasn't the best exit, but it was overall some nice apexes, and it's a 3.3 split. I think the best I did in the mediums was about 3.1, so it's tentative, but it's not too bad. Short shifting up into 6th, getting a nice exit down into Vale, and I would say, although it was my banker run on the medium, so it obviously wasn't my fastest lap, it was probably my best lap in the session. I mean, there were a few little twitchy moments, but in my other 2 laps I made pretty grave mistakes. As we see, we get onto provisional pole momentarily here, but as you'll see, Lovacar will come and beat us by about 0.05 on the soft tyre. We're going to skip onto my second run now, and well, I'm not going to have to explain what happens here. So 1 slide and then 2 slides, and you see we are 0.07 down now, so it's nearly a 10th down coming into the first corner on our soft run. So disappointing, although it's only our middle lap. But nice exit into loop, goes a little bit wide of the apex, and we get a good exit, obviously gaining some time on the delta, but as you can see, we're still red on our banker medium lap, and that is not where you want to be. So it needs a really good middle and last sector to make up for this, and we get a better Brooklands. It's still a little bit awkward. Luffield is very strong there, actually. Try not to run too wide, and yeah, we take just enough exit car to avoid getting invalidated. Get as close as to the inside wall there as we can, taking Copse. Quite a big lift, actually, a bigger lift than I had in the mediums, so I was being quite cautious at this point, because I knew if I put a good lap in, it would be likely to be at least front row, so I didn't want to be too aggressive and just end up binning the car. And a 3.0 split, we are 2.5 tenths up on Lovacar coming into Stowe, so definitely on full provisional pole position right now. Missed the apex a little bit, but again, quite a good exit, running all the way down to Vale Chicane. That was not nice. A Williams who was going into the pits appeared in front of us for about 1/4 second, and that put us off a little bit. But it's actually quite a nice Vale Chicane, and we do a 126.6 on 1. Just for context, my PB coming into this was about a mid 26 flat, and I felt like I could actually replicate that in quali. So I was looking for like a 0.3 or a 0.2 at least, to be honest. So we get a beta exit coming into our final lap. This is our final lap of the session. We timed this awfully, so I couldn't go back into the pits for another one. I think I should have waited in hindsight, so I could have had 2 runs. But a very good first sector. This is very close to my PB time, actually. You get a nice line, although the FPS is dropping a little bit. I apologise for that. We take a nice line. It's a 0.248, which is actually very strong. PB was about a 0.2 flat, so pretty close to it, which is good for the actual session. And yeah, nice exit. I believe we're about 2 tenths up, although my questionable PS recording system isn't exactly capturing that too well. Copse, much less substantial lift there, although there is still a lift, and I knew I could take that flat, so not the best. But it's looking to be a good lap coming into Beckett's, we pretty much nailed that. Just about not on the grass, and yeah, to 2.792, which is actually good. About a tenth and a half off my PE now, so I mean this could have been a 0.2 if what you're about to see didn't happen. So a little bit awkward freestyle, not the worst, but not as good as I'd done it before. And then yeah, we got nervous. Very tentative turning into Vale. Then we run wide on the exit and we lose countless time. And it's a 0.500, and I was really disappointed with myself here. And well, to make things worse, you're going to see something in... Well, I don't know why I did that. Sort of attempted to cut the track. Well, you're going to see something here that may have a bit of an impact on the race result. So as you can see, we're not going to make it back to the pit, so we decided to retire on track, which I did not know was illegal in this league, as I managed to fail to read the rules, and that turned out to be significant as we watch our rival Cam Dude, champion in this league last season, the man to beat. I've raced him a lot, know him personally, he's a great guy. And yeah, we see him coming through Magnus Beckett's now, nailing those few apexes, although a little bit awkward there, slides a bit, losing a bit of time. And I felt like my pace at this track, I mean on time trial when we practiced together, my pace on this track was better than him, especially in quali, by a few tenths I'd say. But Cam has a much better ability to pull it out in the actual session than I do, as we see him take it late break in third gear and doesn't hit the apex, and we see him cross the line and he does a 0.507, and that is 7,000th of my time, despite me being about 2.5 tenths up on him in the middle sector. So yeah, he pulled it together big time, but we do get that crucial pole position which we were looking for. And we're going to watch the race start now. This race followed it was in quite a similar vein the whole time. It was mostly dictated by what happened on the first lap. So for once, as you're going to come to see in my future commentary videos, I cannot start the car in the race, but for once we get the jump on Cam, who's a very good starter, and use our ERS all the way down, hoping that no one makes a late move into village, and we get out safe. And then coming into loop again, wide of the apex, not my my best trait on this track. But yeah, myself and Cam have gapped the field by 5 tenths, and I did actually delete the middle clip in which he overtook me, which is my fault. But yeah, I mean, I tried to get out of his DRS. I was about 9 tenths at one point, but I didn't quite have the speed to get there. But this is my first overtake back on him on lap 6. We both ran the one-stop soft medium, which is the only thing you can really do in Britain. If you go on the hards, you might as well retire the car. But yeah, we make our move back on Cam. We didn't really rush the moves on him. We when we were behind, which we were quite a lot in this race, because when you're out front you tend to lose a lot more ERS. So staying behind him was definitely the right call, as Cam overtakes us using his all ERS, and he actually goes for quite a big undercut. So lap 8 is a fairly early stop. I think the usual time to do it is about lap 10 or 11, but we know he's going to have better pace, so we did respond to this. As we come through Stone now, very mindful of the fact that if you get a speeding in the pits pen, your race is ruined, and it's very easy to do so here. But yeah, we're going to watch our whole stop. We see Cam is going through Magnus Beckett's now, so Britain being, I believe, the longest pit lane on the calendar, we weren't sure if he was going to get us, or at least put a significant amount of time in. Also forgot to mention that he got a 3 second on about lap 4. We did not have any warnings at this point, so we had the upper hand in that regard. And I released the clutch too early, I think, so I had to press it down and release it again, which must have cost me about a second. But yeah, we come to the exit. Cam has just crossed the line now, so he's going to be ahead of us, but how much by? Again, an awkward exit. Didn't want to spin on the relatively cold medium tyres, but yeah, as we come through village, the gap is going to be 1.8 seconds as we mess up that apex. Sorry, 1.9. As yeah, we split the clip there. But yeah, so 1.8 seconds. So this is kind of what told me that I felt I had better pace than Cam, because as you will see shortly, we get to within his DRS in about 2 laps. I mean, I was obviously pushing a bit harder than he was, and we had very similar fastest laps. But I just felt I had that little bit of extra speed that could have that could definitely help me. As we set a purple middle sector in that DRS now, and yeah, so we close within that crucial gap. And now this race was more a race of attrition, really, and it was more on me not getting penalties. As you see, Cam, he got another penalty at Abbey on, I believe, the following lap, on the previous lap. It took a little bit too much curb at Beckett's. I have a tendency to run quite wide in Magnussen Beckett's in the race, but we do get a better exit than him, and we steam on about 70% ERS. Steam ahead of him, managed to cut that again. I'm sorry, I'm new to this. This is a move down the inside, one of the only clips that isn't an overtake, and we get very close to him. We backed out, and I don't think Cam knew we were there. We're going to skip on to lap 25 now. This race was mostly just us two running away with it. But yeah, this is the deciding move, Cam. As you see the red light, that's what I was on about. It's staying out too much in the lead will eventually drain your ERS if you're trying to defend. So we just used it all on this lap, so we didn't get close enough to overtake us. Because although we had the win on penalties, we also wanted to win on track. Because I mean, it doesn't really feel like a win if you do it off someone else's. I say misfortune. It's not really misfortune, but yeah. And we're gonna show the whole lap. See how I do a lap of Britain in the race, because we I haven't shown you a full race lap yet, actually. Which is using... We didn't use DRS on the exit, now we do. Because we know Cam's DRS, he's going to try and push to get that win on track, knowing him. That's exactly what we want to do. Coming into Brooklands now. Little bit awkward through left field, but actually we get a nice run, and yeah, gaining a bit of time on Cam. I think in the first half of the lap I was stronger, but it was much closer through Magnussen and Beckett's. But as you see now, we have about a 5/10 gap. If we can nail this, hit a nice early apex, taking down into fourth, which probably isn't the best, but I did get a nice run, and I don't think, well, Cam was very low on ERS, so he did not have the facilities to overtake us. So we're going to come down into Stowe, and provisionally, as we go through Vale, we don't bottle it this time. And the Cam has a little look on the inside, you can see by his arrow. We're going to take the checker flag, and we are going to win the inaugural race of Season 2 Champions Racing League in the Haas car. Cam behind got second, very deservingly. He drove a brilliant race. Lovacar in third did well as well. I mean, he's released his own highlights video. I know he was on his own for much of it. Got caught up in the action at the back, unlike myself and Cam. Righty in fourth, Ben Taylor fifth. Lova's teammate in the Alpine Tinio in sixth. Grande seventh. I know he's a pretty quick driver. Driss, Mirage, and then yet to finish. But as we wait for these guys to finish, I'm just going to explain what happened after the race. So in the minutes afterwards, I found out that because I retired on track and quali, as I showed you guys earlier, that I was actually going to get a penalty, and the magnitude of this penalty was 10 seconds. So needless to say, I didn't react too well to this, being the gracious loser that I am. Well, I'm going to say it now, I didn't lose, but I didn't feel like this was fair at the time. I still don't think it was fair, as we see Driss retire on the last corner. I don't think the pen is fair now, but I think at the same time it was my fault for not reading the rules that you couldn't retire on track in quali. I know this had happened to someone else, so I think I reacted very badly to this. I was like, I need my win back. I left the league. I was like, because they kind of put the owner put in the chat, congratulations P1 Cam, and I just didn't take it very well 2 minutes after how I felt I'd won the race. But yeah, I reacted quite badly to this, probably more childish than I usually pride myself on. So not my finest moment, but I did leave, and I spoke to him last night, and then we had a bit of an argument, and then I realised that I was in the wrong. Although I felt the penalty was harsh, I ultimately shouldn't have reacted like that, because the rules are there for everyone, and it wasn't biased or anything like that. But so although we did not win this race, we joined the league back, we got our way back into a full-time seat through our, well, it was a genuine apology. On last warning in the Twin League now, understandably, as we see the podium celebrations. But yeah, Cam won. Obviously not as what I hoped for, because I'm quite disappointed that a silly mistake cost me the win, as we're very close to the end of the recording now. But yeah, that is it, guys. Pleasure. We move on to Spa in the next round in this league. I hope you enjoyed it. I haven't made too much of a mistake in this video, and I will see you on the next one.